Good evening, Brother Tom.
Good evening.
How are you?
I am well. How are you this evening?
I'm very well.
You look very happy as usual.
Thank you. Because we live in the Buddha Dhamma, and other time we look young in the Dhamma. We waiting a few minutes. Other time people gather together, and then we say something. Today have Gloria, Jerry, Van, Den, Hadel. You would like to invite your Dhamma friend to come here today? Brother Tom, can you hear me?
Please say again.
Can you hear me clearly?
Okay, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Today, your topic, you repair anything carefully, right?
Anything what?
Anything you repair smoothly.
Yes, I put out a couple of announcements, and so you've already read a couple of names of people that are here from the Tulsa area, from Tambao Temple. I want to make sure that we thank you so much for having this idea and hosting this event tonight. Thank you.
Happy because right now coronavirus we don't go somewhere. Other time we have Zoom, Dhamma Zoom, and other time we stay at home, and easy for us to connect together. It's better for us.
Yes.
Now in Tambao Buddhist temple, every Sunday, you and your friend gather together.
We just started 2 weeks ago. We started meeting again since March, since early March. We only did Zoom meetings and did our Sunday service every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. We did this over Zoom, and I'm very pleased. I'm glad we had Zoom, but now for the last 2 weeks we start to meet again in person. Just right now the numbers are small, and so maybe half of our people come to Temple, half of the people maybe are on Zoom. So we continue. Yeah, we continue our Zoom along with meeting in person at the temple.
Right. Very happy to meet you and Dhamma friend today.
Thank you.
And we are waiting around 1 or 2 minutes. Other time we start. Okay.
Very good. Yes.
I listened to your video in Facebook in March. Other time I listened to at the Tambao Buddhist temple in Tulsa.
Yes.
You did
Yeah.
good. You did good job.
Yes, thank you. And now you have joined that group, so you see everything we do.
Right. Because sometimes we gather together, but a long time, not easy for to meet to face. That's why we raise Dhamma Zoom, and we stay at home, and we easy for us to connect together.
Yes, it is, and we are happy that this technology is here for us.
Right. What your Dhamma name?
My Dharma name is Man Hae. Man Hae is from the Korean Son Zen tradition, and the meaning of Man Hae, you have to translate it a couple of times. The first the direct meaning is 10,000 oceans.
10,000.
And 10,000 oceans represents infinite wisdom, and that's given to me by my teacher, Dagon.
Very full meaning. I'm happy to meet Sister Gloria. Can you hear me? Gloria. Okay. And maybe 1 minute, other time we start.
Okay.
Because you inform your friend, Dhamma friend, they know. Today they will come.
Yes, I informed both on our Facebook page, and I sent out emails. We have maybe 200 people on.
Okay.
Of course, but a handful here tonight. But
maybe tonight, people Dhamma friend join us. Maybe very few. Maybe next week, maybe more.
Maybe. word will spread.
Right. Now we start. Okay, 7. Yes. Dear Dhamma brother and sister, first of all, I'm very happy to be here with you, and you are there with me. Today is on October 15, 2020. We are at Zoom, Dhamma Zoom. And first of all, I would like to introduce one by one. We ourselves introduce personally. Right now, I would like to introduce me. I am Venerable Thức from Austin, the abbot of Pháp Nhãn Buddhist Temple. Right now, I'm here for you. Today, I would like to invite my brother and sister to meet together, first of all, and then first we have a personal introduction. Second, we have listening to meditation music. And third, we chanting. And number 4, we have Dhamma talk. Today, I would like to invite Brother Man Hae, who have duty to talk to say the Dhamma talk today. And then number 5, Dhamma discussion. And the last one, I would like to invite one person who volunteered to next speak. Okay, now second round, I would like to invite Brother Man Hae. Now, please.
Thank you very much. I am Man Hae, English name Tom Perrine. I am a member of the Furnace Mountain lineage of Korean Seon Buddhism, but I practice here in Tulsa at Tambao Temple, where I am the Sangha, the English language Sangha leader, and we are hosted by the Vietnamese Sangha of Tambao, and we have a wonderful relationship with them, and we are always thankful for them to provide such a wonderful temple space to us. At Tambao, we practice, we have many people come to our congregation who may be Zen Buddhists, but they may be Japanese Zen Buddhists. We have people who are Tibetan Buddhists, people who are Shambhala, people who are Theravada Buddhists. So we have quite a collection of lineages and practices. So when we introduce ourselves, we say we are Buddhists, and we teach the teachings of the Buddha, and we do not follow any particular lineage or practice. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, had a long career in human resources, but I am happily retired now and happily practicing the Dharma. Thank you.
And I have two questions from me to talk to share would like to talk with you. And when you become a Buddhist lay devotee, and the temple, which temple did you become a Buddhist? Yes.
Yes, Furnace Mountain is temple in the Daniel Boone National Forest in eastern Kentucky. It's pretty well hidden in the mountains there. It is built in a traditional Korean style temple. The Zen master there, who ordained me as a priest and who is my teacher, his name is Daegak. He is the student and Dharma heir of Zen master Seong-san. So that's where I became Buddhist. Where also.
Thank you. And you follow Tam Buddhist temple how long?
Oh, I'm thinking maybe 7 or 8 years now since I started going there. I lived north of here, and it's in a small city called Bartlesville. But I started going when I was in Bartlesville. I have been following and watching Buddhism for 50 years. I was first introduced to it when I was in the service, but only 10 years ago did I become very, very serious about it, and then started considering myself to be Buddhist.
Oh, so long. Happy. Thank you, Brother Tom.
Thank you.
I would like to invite Sister Gloria. What you can introduce yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Ah, wonderful. My Vietnamese Buddhist name is Những. I'm never sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. Dieucam.
Right. Yes, what the meaning of Yu Tam?
Well, I always tell people it means muddy lotus, but my Thai Tuk tree said it means beautiful mind.
Beautiful mind. Yu Tam, another meaning, wonderful heart. Wonderful mind.
I didn't know that. Thank you. I have been studying Buddhism on my own for years, like Tom, and then I started reading Thich Nhat Hanh's books, and removed from Ponca City, which is another small town in Oklahoma, to Tulsa, specifically because of the temple here. And I've been going to the temple for a little over 10 years, and I received the 15 mindfulness trainings from Thich Nhat Hanh in 2013 at Magnolia Grove Monastery in Batesville, Mississippi.
I see. Okay, thank you, Sister Yu Tam, Gloria, Sister Yu Tam. Wonderful heart, wonderful mind. How about another sister? Oh, someone connects. Now I would like to invite Sue Ann John Blaine. Now please introduce yourself. MJ. Sister Cherry Van Den. Now please, you yourself.
Cheryl?
Yeah, hi. I'm Cheryl Vandenhandel. I started studying Buddhism a little bit in the 1980s when we were stationed in Hawaii. I went to the temple in Kaneohe, which is a Japanese Brother Man Hae temple. But I just studied on my own for, 35 years or so. And then when I got here to Tulsa to teach, and I found the Tambone Temple and decided to become serious about my studies. So a year ago, I took the precepts, and my Vietnamese is Du Nguyen.
I say again, please. Vietnamese name.
Nguyen.
Nguyễn. Diệu Nguyên, right? Okay. Your Vietnamese name. What is your Vietnamese name? Diệu Nguyên, right? Right, Diệu Nguyên, right?
I think I spelled it wrong.
Okay.
I think I spelled it wrong.
Okay, thank you. I got it. Thank you. Now I would like to invite Diệu Nguyên. A wonderful origin. Diệu Nguyên. Yes. And brother Su An, John, Blaine, if you are there, and please, you would like to, I would like to invite you introduce yourself, if you are there. Okay. I think maybe next day we can introduce more. Right now, only this enough. I would like to invite the Dhamma sister and brother first listening to Dhamma meditation music, and then we follow mindful in breath and out breath around 1 or 2 or 3 minutes. At the time we start. this song, do you know that? Here and now we practice together. Before we studied 2 years ago. Our happy life we live in be and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moment we live so happily. 2 years ago we learned together. That song you remember? Sister and brother. Okay, I will send to you later. Now number 3, I would like to invite the whole Sangha to chant together. To chant together a few minutes. Now right now I would like to invite the whole Sangha to chant. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. If something not clear, now please tell me. You can see it?
Yes.
Okay. Now
It looks very clear, very good.
right. Right now I would like to chant. Another time you chant silent, noble silent, in noble silent. Namo De Origin No Master Sakyamo De Buddhaya. Namo De Origin No Master Sakyamo De Buddhaya. Namo De Origin No Master Sakyamo De Buddhaya. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Respectfully pay homage to the Buddha, the well-honored one, the worthy one, deserted one, the fully awakened, enlightened one. The three refuges I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who showed me the way of love and kindness, compassion and wisdom in lifetime. Heaven taking refuge in the Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in light. Turning back and taking refuge in the Buddha, in myself I aspire to have on devotion, recognize and develop their own enlightened nature. Namo Buddhaya, Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Dhamma, the way of practice and peace, joy, happiness, and understanding and love for the many, right in the present life. Having taken refuge in the Dhamma, I am learning and practicing the noble eightfold path, including ethics, meditation, and wisdom interrelated very closely with right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Turning back and taking refuge in the Dhamma in myself, I aspire to have on people fully master the way of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Namo Dhammaya Dhammang Saranam Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of cultivators and people who vow to live their life up and harmony and awareness to themselves and to others, right here and right now in the present life. Having taken refuge in the Sangha, I am enlightened, instructed and supported by the Sangha body on the way of practice. Turning back and taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to have on people beautiful community to embrace on being and support their transformation. Namo Sanghaya Sangham Saranam Gacchami Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sharing the merit, reciting the training, practicing the way of awareness, give right to benefits without limit. We want to send the fruits with on being. We want to offer tribute to parent, teacher, friend, and numerous being who give guidance and support along the path. May the merit of this practice benefit on being and bring Thank you so much for your listening, chanting today. Right now, number 4, I would like to invite Dhamma Brother Man Hae, Brother Tom, to say the Dhamma talk today. Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you. So the Dharma talk today, those who have been around me for a while know that I'm very interested in the subject of consciousness. And even before 10 years ago, when I really started getting serious about my Buddhism, this was a fascinating topic in Bartlesville. I organized 3, I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 group discussions on consciousness, and I learned a lot. But learning a lot means it has to be understood that in the scientific or conventional sense, there is not a lot to know, because science has no answer as to what consciousness is. So I always like to tell people what my sources are, and my source basically for this talk is the Dalai Lama. But I looked at 3 different articles or events. So one is an article from 2013 by the Dalai Lama that says, no beginning, no end. So it's held that consciousness has no beginning, no end. Also, from a recording from a conference in 2016 with scientists and Buddhists. And that was called the Mind and Life Conference. And then, a week and a half ago, I got notified. I have a thing that tells me whenever the Dalai Lama comes on live, it tells me and teaching to a couple of groups in Taiwan. So I don't know the name of that. I know it was I just called it Taiwan Teaching 2 weeks ago. So I have a few things I want to read a little bit of an introduction here. And about consciousness, said to flow like a stream. When every momentary consciousness, it arises, it has a static point, and then it subsides. And each momentary consciousness, as it subsides, transmits its whole energy to the indelibly recorded impressions onto the next thought. So every fresh consciousness consists of all of the potentialities of its predecessors together with something more. This is the interesting point, something more. There is therefore a continuous flow of consciousness, like a stream without any interruptions. So at this conference, one of the scientists posed this question to the Dalai Lama: how does one arrive at the conviction that our consciousness has no beginning and no end? Immediately, the Dalai Lama went to the idea of dependent origination. There is no independent in origination. Things don't appear or start. There is dependent origination. Everything that arises is dependent on the conditions and events that coalesce to bring that event or that thing together. And if that wasn't the case, the question would become, where then did consciousness start? And how did it start? And that question is a dead end. So it starts, we know that consciousness starts with the thought before it and flows into the thought after it. So as far as logic is concerned, consciousness is beginningless because consciousness requires an earlier moment of consciousness as its cause. And that moment of consciousness would in turn require an earlier instant of consciousness, back and back. Therefore, it is infinite and beginningless. This kind of explanation the Dalai Lama allows. This kind of explanation may not be 100% satisfactory, but it has fewer problems than any other explanation. So the other explanation would be if one did believe in an all-powerful creator that suddenly ordained consciousness to be. But how then would it sustain? The Dalai Lama went on to talk about birth as an arising of the psychophysical phenomena, and death as a temporary cessation of that phenomena. And so the topic then comes to how does the person's consciousness, memories, etc., from one individual to another individual, and at the point of death. How does this occur? And of course, in Buddhism, we hold that this occurs without transmigration of a soul. A soul, of course, being an eternal entity that is unchanging. And of course, we accept that everything changes, everything is impermanent. So there can be no permanent, unchanging soul. When brain death occurs, then stops as brain consciousness stops. But the Dalai Lama talks about, and this gets very interesting, because he talks about then the scientific fact of brain activity after brain death. And he cited the occurrence in Taiwan not long ago of scientists studying a monk who was a very well-practiced meditator. And that monk's brain remained active, and I don't mean consciousness active, but there was brain activity to be seen for 28 days following that monk's physical death. So the question becomes then, okay, how does this happen? The scientist then went on to ask, his next question was, following brain death, how does this consciousness occur into the next, how does it make this transition into the next body? And he said, how do you explain that the memories and experiences could live on? The scientist said, this is too much like magic for me to accept. So the Dalai Lama went on to discuss, and this is something I really had to go and look up and try and understand, the subtle mind. So when he said that for 28 days, this monk was, activity could be seen, and the Dalai Lama compared this to a subtle meditative state. And there is much more than I ever knew to be found on, as you explore what is the subtle mind, what is the subtle body. And so there is, the Dalai Lama said here there is an embedded trace. And he said very emphatically, disintegration, when things die, when organic matter dies, disintegration has a cause, but reintegration also has a cause. And that cause is this trace or embedded karma that can move, and the Dalai Lama said it is formless and immaterial. While when causes and conditions come together again that are right, it then actualizes. Another scientist at this point interjects, and he made it clear that he was in the Dalai Lama's corner and subscribed to his thinking here. He said, as scientists, we hold a number of presuppositions that everything must have a material substrate. This is not that presupposition here. Instead, you have subtle mind and subtle body. In modern physics, he reminded everybody, we know the fact of gravity. We understand gravity. And yet, the nature of gravity to be scientifically explained is still a mystery. We don't understand it, just as consciousness is a scientific mystery. We don't understand it. So that's what this scientist said. He said this also is a great mystery. To this, the Dalai Lama recounted several investigations validating the authenticity of those who have recounted past lives and very accurately recounted past lives. And I think this is a very interesting fact because they have been validated beyond a doubt. And so the explanation was that this is formless and immaterial. And so this is the force of karma. The karma force, each of us in each individual, binds the various elements together. The integrated and uninterrupted flux or continuity of psychophysical phenomena, which is conditioned by karma, not limited only to the present life, but having its source in the beginningless past and its continuation in the future. As long as this karmic force exists, there is rebirth, for beings are merely the visible manifestation of this invisible karmic force. So this to me is, and during this, a couple of times during each one of these broadcasts, the Dalai Lama says it is still a mystery. We accept that it's a mystery. And yet, this explanation is better than any other and leaves us with fewer questions. So with that, I think we have questions posed for us. What is this life force, and how does this sustain? How does karmic energy transfer from death through the bardos to rebirth? Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Man Hae. Now I would like to invite Dhamma sister and brother. Do you have some question? Now, please. Yes, please.
Hi, Tom, thank you. This is a fantastic subject, and I love it so much. And I would like to discuss karma in the sense of there are first and unfortunate rebirths. So, as somebody who's in a fortunate rebirth at this point, how did we navigate this to be reborn into another fortunate rebirth and not?
I'm sorry, you were cutting up a little bit there, chopping up. Did you say how do we navigate it into a fortunate rebirth? Okay, I will assume that's the question. I liked one of the examples that was given in these texts, and I think the answer is, first of all, we learn lessons in the bardos. We have to recognize things. So there is some of our own navigating that helps us. But one of the explanations for how karma would work was if you would consider two billiard balls, and one billiard ball is struck by the cue and impelled into the second billiard ball. Depending on the force, the spin, and direction of the first, that launches the second off and with some equivalent force in a direction. And so it was said, this is how karma works. So karma works by impelling you in a certain direction. It is the force that sets you into one rebirth or the other. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, of course, that sounds reasonable. I just happen to be studying this very subject right at this moment, and which is, it's so ironic that you are speaking to it right now. And the fact that we can be born in little actions that we do in every moment, simple things, that lying, stealing, we can go on with all the various destructive actions that we can come on to.
Yes.
I don't know. It's just so, it makes you very grounded in this space. And so it does. And you're talking about the causes and conditions are right. That, we have karmic force. And something else you said that was really, for me, was really interesting was, where did consciousness start? And I really like that. And I think you've posed that before in a Dharma talk at Temple. And I think you asked me pointedly that question, actually, and I had to step back because I did not have anything to say to you about that. But now, talking about independent and dependent rising, I think this is a very relevant topic. And I would actually like to hear what everybody else has to say about those particular topics.
Thank you. Dear Dhamma, Brother Tom, I have one question. What are different between consciousness and mind?
This is good. I guess this is a good question because I would really, I can be like a politician and answer the question that I wish that you had asked me. I wish you had asked me, what is the difference between consciousness and brain? I would have a very, very quick and I think fairly accurate answer for that. Brain is material substance. Brain is chemicals. Brain is material. But you asked the difference between consciousness and mind. So we speak, I think, in Buddhism of different levels of consciousness, and there is awakening consciousness, and there is sleep consciousness, and there is dream consciousness. And this consciousness is experienced. So I'm going to go in 3 stages, and I have no idea if I'm right. But I will start with brain. You have the material brain. You have chemicals. You have, meat, right? That's what the brain is. But you have mind, which is the ability of mind, of the ability of the brain to have mind. But consciousness to me, is a function of mind. You have consciousness within the mind, and it can be at various levels. But the mind, how do I want to say this? The mind can travel here and there, and not always on track. I would say consciousness is a focused portion of the mind. And consciousness, I think, also has to do with awareness of the five senses. So I'm going to stop there. I'm getting deeper and deeper. But I think you have brain, mind, consciousness.
Okay.
Do you have an answer for your own question?
You know, in Buddhist study, have a kind of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, noise consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and subconsciousness, and the age. This the mind, or we can call star consciousness. Star consciousness. Star consciousness. We can call the mind. The mind contain of bad karma and good karma. But karma, sometimes somebody did something wrong. Other time he or she can did something wrong or bad. Other time, bad karma, we are good practitioner and we can transform it into good karma. From bad karma, we can transform into good karma with Dhamma practice, with
Yes.
Dhamma learning. Okay, thank you. Now, brother, sister Yu Tam, have question.
Hello. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Tom, I want to talk to you tomorrow about that study. When I am a student of neurology, and when you look at not a healthy brain, but the brain of someone that has, let's say, sensory damage, you were talking about taste consciousness, hearing consciousness. When you're dealing with someone who is deaf, they don't lack consciousness. It's just that stream, entry stream, is not there for them. So they compensate in other ways. I was going to say that my favorite professor, my mentor, always said the thing about consciousness, Galasso, is you just can't stick a pin in it. And it's a problem for neurologists because there really is no organ in the brain that you can go to and say, right there, that's where consciousness is. So I think the idea of continuing stream that becomes attenuated when a person dies, and then when the conditions are right, that consciousness stream, which at this point I think would just barely be more than just the karma involved, I can see how that could manifest in another person. I don't ever remember really ever being a child in the sense of starting over. By the age of 3 or 4 I think it was, I was reading. And by the age of 5, I could formulate fairly complex thoughts. And I think this is true of everybody if they're given a chance. I don't think that I'm special. I hope I'm not wandering around too much here. Tom, I really am fascinated by those articles that you were citing. Were they using a functional MRI?
I don't know. He didn't say, but I have another this one I've had this recording of the Dalai Lama speaking of this. I've had another recording on this for about 6-7 years, and he talks about a different case, but with the same result. And I do not know what, he did not say what equipment. Now, Steve, and this is Venerable, this is Dr. Steve Byers, just found an article on that, on luminosity. He calls this phenomenon luminosity. And Steve just sent an article, and I didn't have time to yet read that article. I will see if I can get it read before we talk tomorrow. And perhaps in that article is more, because it is about these studies, and so maybe they will tell us what kind of instrumentation was used.
I sure hope so. I'm going to let it go at that point because I'm not sure that I'm adding I agree that this is one of the most probably is the most fascinating subject there is. When you come down to it, this is it.
Yeah. I like these, of course, I've always enjoyed the subject, and I really like the exchange that the Dalai Lama does frequently, that takes place with scientists. And I love the fact in this one that there was the one scientist that said, there are things we don't understand. We don't even understand gravity, and we certainly don't understand consciousness. So we can't rule.
That's exactly right.
Anything out.
It's like electricity. We know how to use it. We can make it come to us out of what seems to be nothing and go away to seem to be nothing. Hopefully not frying somebody in the process. But we don't know what that is. There's a lot of stuff we're doing like that. For example, nuclear fusion, which is about to start, a thing that's about to start. And we don't know what we're dealing with. So you don't understand it.
Okay. Thank you for your acting. And do you have some question more? Do you have? Now I would like to invite John, brother, Batterson, sister. Do you have a question?
Here I am, yes. My name is Patricia Patterson.
Now, please.
And what was the question? I'm sorry.
Any question when you listen to brother Tom Dhamma talk? If you have a question.
The thought that occurred to me was that the origin of consciousness is, to me at least, and I am not a high-level scientist of any degree, it seems that consciousness to me has the same sort of origin as the questions about the beginning of the universe. And right now, from my knowledge of where science is, it seems to me that neither one of those can actually be answered to 100%, because was there actually a time in the universe that nothing existed, or has there always been something? It's like the same with consciousness. Was there ever a time when no consciousness existed? That would be a question that I would love to hear the answer of. I'm not currently in the pursuit of, though.
Yeah, that's exactly the conclusion the Dalai Lama reached. He said, if you pose that question, there is no answer, because we know we know emphatically, science knows emphatically, that things don't just arise, don't just appear. Something doesn't just occur. It has to have the right causes and conditions. And the best we can determine the right causes and conditions for consciousness are the conscious moment just preceding it and the one preceding that, as a never-flowing stream.
And that can go back to infinity and beyond, you know. Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
That wasn't our dog, was it? Yes, it was. Sorry for the dog's comment. Well, thank you, Tom. I'm excited to hear that. I'm thinking along the same lines as the Dalai Lama in the same way.
It's gratifying, yes.
Okay, thank you. How
Thank
about Sister MJ? John, please. Do you have some question?
I don't have any questions.
Now, please. Okay, thank you so much for Brother Man Hae sharing the Dharma talk today. Right now, I would like to invite one sister or brother who volunteer to next week. I would like to invite one person. The same time, maybe same time, same day, next Thursday. Who volunteer to say the Dharma talk next time?
If somebody doesn't volunteer soon, maybe we should volunteer somebody.
Oh, hey, Susan. Hey, I can't volunteer. I'm an
I second that nomination of Gloria.
Oh my goodness.
Who volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, Sister Yutam, right? Now please say again. I want to see. Who volunteer?
I volunteer.
Okay, Sister Yutam. And what is your topic? When you're ready, and please send to Brother Man Hae.
Absolutely.
Early today early. And then other time, Brother Man Hae have duty to invite more Dharma friends.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Right now the time is over. Now one question more. Do you think we have 1 hour for 1 week? Do you think 1 hour enough? One and a half.
I think that today was very good, and we got every piece of your agenda in, and I thank you for that. And it was all very enjoyable, and nothing seemed to have to rush too much, go too fast. I think an hour is good.
1 hour enough, right? But around 6:50, I am in a Zoom. Other time, if you come early, it's okay. And 7 p.m. Other time we start 1 hour. This okay? Okay. Sharing the merits, reciting the training, practicing the way of awareness, give right to benefits without limits. We vow to share the fruit with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teacher, friend, and numerous beings who give guidance and support along the path. May the merits of practice and sharing peace, happiness, joy, and understanding for all. May the Buddha and Bodhisattva bless and protect on any time and anywhere. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. lần thay. Well done, well done, well done. Excellent, excellent, and excellent. Okay, thank you so much for your here today, and see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye and good night.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Okay, bye bye, bye bye.
Bye bye.